with so many wild horses in holding facilities. I feel like some people might learn about this issue and be like, whoa, thousands and thousands of horses, what could I do? So really, how can one successful adoption truly make a difference to someone that may not be as, horse obsessed as like I am? Like, I understand it. I get it. I want to see all of them. But how can that really make a difference in this giant issue?
The wild horse and burro issue is really overwhelming, and there's no easy answer, and it's so layered, and we could have an entire 5 podcasts dedicated to the wild horse and burro issue. But I would say, at least for me, those 2 horses, in my case, Stargazer and Nora, like I have to focus on them and know that I gave them the best life that I possibly could, that they're never going to be in the slaughter pipeline. They are going to have a forever home, and I will do everything I can to help them. And sometimes it feels like there's thousands and thousands of horses. How, am I really making a difference? And I think for me, I am, because, Stargazer and Nora I want them to be ambassadors for that, you can do this. Like, I was terrified to adopt Mustangs. I've had horses my entire life, but I did my research. I put a great network around me. I was committed to them, financially committed to them as well. And I think that's not something that we talk about a lot, that sure, things get tough, but like, I've financially committed as well, that I'm going to do the best I can for them. And so at the end of the day, they are ambassadors for other people being able to adopt wild horses with knowledge and resources, and quite frankly, friends. And for me, they've changed my life. I know that I'm helping them, but they've helped me so much more. I can never repay them for what they've done for me. So it is a big issue, but I see them and I know that I am making a difference.
I love that.
Yeah, and I think when you think that there's stories like Melissa's all over the country, it is one Mustang. It's not enough for all the Mustangs in holding, but I do think it's having a ripple effect. And I think you're a good example of that, Hollie, where it's like you have just recently kind of discovered Mustangs and become intrigued by them. And I also agree, like Melissa said, if we can get one adopter that provides a committed home, like that is one of the absolute most powerful things that can be done for a Mustang. No, it doesn't save them all, but every home that will commit to the Mustang they adopt will make a huge difference overall.
Yeah, I completely agree. And, for me, I worked in wild horse advocacy and really got to know the issue inside and out, and, visited multiple ranges and saw lots of wild horses out on the range, went to roundups, went to holding facilities, we attended in-person adoptions, had online auctions, in-person auctions, the whole gamut of the entire wild horse and burro issue. And, went to training facilities. Like, it's really, I felt like I walked into getting as much information as I could firsthand and trying to take that and to apply to what I'm doing with them today. And I feel like that really helps me be a much more educated and well-rounded, person. Like, I understand where they're coming from, I think, from knowing their backstory and their history and what they're up against.
And I think that's really amazing that you were able to go and get that firsthand knowledge. And that's kind of what I'm seeking from a lot of people, is firsthand experience, because it's so emotionally charged, and social media gives us, one outlet of something that's emotionally charged and then another one that's polar opposite. And you feel so torn, like, wait a minute, where am I supposed to feel here? What am I supposed, and ultimately, like, for me and a lot of the people that I'm meeting through this process, we do care about the horse. Like, that's the most important thing, is the horse, right? And the issues, like you said, are so layered and so complex. So to meet different people through this process that have firsthand experience is really, really valuable. I appreciate it a lot, hearing from you.
Yeah, and I know I'm learning every day about it. Like, there's always something new to learn. There's different perspectives. There's ways to approach things differently. I mean, I didn't know anything about R positive before, quite frankly, until I met Sam. And so, so she was super helpful in guiding me in that direction and putting really strong trainers and horse gentlers around me that knew more than I did and saw more than I did and wanted to listen. And so for me, It's a journey, and I'm still on this journey, and I don't think I have all the answers, and I don't think I'll ever have all the answers, but I like to think that I keep seeking out as much information as possible with the goal of making sure that Stargazer and Nora have the best chance of success. And for me, I think I'm seeing that.
That's huge, just that openness to continue learning. And I think the community is leaning more towards that. And it's really cool to see there's a lot of people who, are willing to learn, want what's best for the horses in whatever realm they're working in, whether that, that can go from sanctuary to like veteran programs to private ownership, but that people are really opening themselves to kind of listening to the Mustang and learning from them and learning from others who have worked with them is pretty huge and cool. Yeah. Do you have anything to add to that, Sam, about the difference it makes one Mustang?
Yeah, I mean, I think you guys have all touched on it, and just, I guess, boil it into a summary. We're talking about compounding effects. One Mustang or two Mustangs that you take out of the system is a Mustang that a sanctuary doesn't have to worry about. It's a Mustang that doesn't get traded around, especially if you're committing to this financially and you are a person that has backup plans if something happens to you. I know that Melissa can back me up on this. The number of horses from the Anarchy auction, the one that our guys came from, that have ended up being rehomed because somebody got in over their head, or somebody didn't have the financial bid, or somebody didn't have the backup because they wanted to save them, is immense. And I know she'll have seen this as well as I. The people that tend to take on as many horses as they can to, quote, try and save them all, a lot of those horses end up later having to get taken to sanctuaries or find homes, or end up being euthanized because they're too thin, or they're now dangerous because the person took on too many. And so really doing your research and making a careful selection and taking one or two horses has a compounding effect, and you prevent a whole bunch of other bad scenarios from happening that people have to react to by being proactive.
I 100% agree. And I think there's a lot of well-intentioned people that want to take and save as many wild horses as possible, but I don't think they think through like how expensive it is to feed them all through winter. This has been a long winter. Vet care, it's a lot. And so I think people, they're well intended, but it just doesn't always pan out that way.